Actually, I was raised in a secular family, so there was no like an issue of eating kosher, because my parents came from like like a socialist movement. Um, they came from a kibbutz that was really spread out here in Israel those days, and they were really like anti-religious in many aspects. So actually, some of the things that they did was like an opposition for the religious authorities. And for example, if we are talking about like eating pork, which is of course not kosher and really against the religious authorities' demands. So it was like a really big occasion for us to eat pork. My father used to buy pork, and we had like do an event and eat pork, and it was like we felt really rebellious. It was like almost a status symbol. Also it was really hard to get pork these days, because the authorities made it very hard to get access to pork or to raise pork and stuff like that. It is hard for me to define myself in terms of either or. It's not like or even to say that I feel Jewish or Israeli. I'm Israeli for the fact that I have an Israeli passport, so that's for sure. But and I'm Jewish because my mother is Jewish, and some. But in my self identity, I guess I have like aspects of both Israel, being Israeli and being Jewish. Even though, like I said before, I'm not following any Jewish tradition. I don't do anything, I'm really secular. Still, for like traditional and cultural aspects, I do see myself as Jewish in some aspects. My parents grew up in the city that I grew up in, but they came like after the army. They went like for 5 years to live in the kibbutz and to build like a new kibbutz, and then they went back to Netanya. My dad used to make like sandwiches for me for school. Usually it's the mom, but in our house it's the dad. My dad used to wake up really early, like at 6 o'clock in the morning, and really he would really invest a lot of work in these sandwiches to make them really, really good. And I hated these sandwiches. No matter how hard he tried to make them like really good, I really hated them. I always like really wanted to make like the food really simple. Give me like a simple bread with chocolate or something. Don't try to used to like make omelets and do really, really good things. And all the other kids used to really envy me that I get like these really good sandwiches, and so it went to the point one day that my friend really wanted my sandwich. I got this avocado sandwich or something like that, and we said that I told him that he will get this sandwich if he licks the sole of my shoe. So first time I became a vegetarian, it was after I came back from India, and I went there like for a few months, and I got into the Buddhist tradition. And the Buddhist tradition, they don't have like laws about food or stuff like that, but they really like morally are opposed to eating or killing, more correctly, animals. They really are against harming other creatures and stuff like that. It's for them it's bad karma, and it's really immoral to to harm other living creatures. And I thought it was really, it was really beautiful thing in my eyes, and also, for moral reasons, I tried to be vegetarian, but then, like after a few months, I don't know, something, I really like felt weak, and I thought, that I really felt a strong crave for like eating meat. And then I broke down and started eating meat. And the second time, and since then I wanted to be a vegetarian. I knew I wanted to be a vegetarian, but it was like, not now. I bought this book and it sat on my shelf, and I said like, okay, I don't want to read it because I know that once I read it, I will not eat meat anymore. So I really, didn't read it, and I tried not to read it for some time, and then once I read it, I made a decision. I made a decision to try being vegetarian again, and since then, I guess like it's like I think it's already 18 months or stuff like or something like that, a year and a half. And occasionally I do eat meat. I mean, in special occasions, I do eat meat in restaurants or like abroad. We went like to London a few 2 months ago, and I said that as long as I'm in vacation in London, I eat as much meat as I want, and when I go back, it's like I'm turning vegetarian again. But actually, when I started being vegetarian, lately, the second cycle, initially I didn't eat fish as well, but it was hard for me, and for some reason, one day I said from now on I eat fish. I'm vegetarian, but I eat fish, and this is really strange. I think animals of the sea are much more endangered than on land. It's like wild animals, and not raised animals, farm animals like on land. But I don't know. But morally, it just makes some sense for me. To eat fish, it makes more sense. It's as if like fish feel less pain, or there's also a line by Kurt Cobain. It's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings. So I don't know. I guess I feel that way as well. I know it's like reasonable. It's just like I knew that it's reasonable not to eat meat. It's not like a rational choice. It's also now it's not like a rational choice. This is okay to eat and this is not okay to eat. It's just something that I put my rationality aside, and I just want to eat fish, and that's it. So I know it's like it's a conflict, and it's like something which is not really coherent. I like meat. It's not like I don't like meat. I still there are some vegetarians that really get disgusted by meat. It's not the case. So I don't know. I really find myself many times fantasizing about hamburgers, really good hamburger. I'm a junk loving vegetarian.